In the town of Vila, tomorrow was something you could hear. It ticked in the bones of the clock tower. It hummed beneath the cobblestones. It lingered in the air just after midnight, like a breath the world was saving. And everyone believed there would always be more of it. Everyone, except Myra Vale. Myra had a habit of putting things off. "I'll go tomorrow," she'd say when the hill beyond town called to her. "I'll answer tomorrow." When letters arrived, she was too afraid to read. "I'll be braver tomorrow." But tomorrow, though generous, is not infinite. And on the night it ran thin, Myra was the first to feel it. It began with silence. Not just quiet, but a deep silence that pressed against your ears. Lying in bed, Myra noticed the ticking of the town clock had changed. It had slowed down, stretching the seconds longer than they should be. Tick, tick, tick. The pauses felt unnatural, like hesitation. Then, the ticking stopped completely. Her window was open, but she couldn't hear the wind. She heard nothing. A faint unease crept into her chest. And then, a knock. Not on her door. Not on the wall. It was a knock from somewhere behind her own thoughts. Soft. Measured. Patient. She held her breath. The knock came again. Myra sat up slowly. The air in her room shimmered faintly, like heat rising from pavement, and the shadows in the corners thickened, gathering shape. "Who's there?" she whispered. The knock answered, this time from her desk drawer. The one she kept locked. The one that held a small stack of unopened letters tied with a pale thread. She crossed the room, unlocked the drawer, and pulled it open. Inside, resting on top of the letters, was something that didn't belong there. A glass hourglass, no taller than her hand. But instead of sand, it held a glowing, silver light. And it was running upward. A small tag hung from its narrow neck, reading, "One tomorrow. Borrowed. Return before dawn." Myra's heart pounded. She hadn't asked for this, yet she knew it was for her. The silver light pulsed once. The room tilted. And before she could decide what to do, she turned the hourglass over. The world stopped. Not gradually, not gently. It just stopped. Her candle flame froze. Dust hung motionless in the air. Outside her window, leaves halted in mid-fall. But she could move. Slowly, carefully, like walking underwater. The silver glow from the hourglass spilled across her floor in ribbons of light, stretching toward the door. "Borrowed time is delicate," a voice said behind her. Myra turned. A tall figure stood near her bed, its cloak stitched with faintly glowing clock faces, each frozen at a different hour. Where a face should have been, there was only shifting mist. "You have until dawn," the figure said calmly. "When the first true light touches the tower, tomorrow must be returned." "What happens if it isn't?" Myra asked. "The mist where its face should be shifted slightly. The day after will not come." Her throat tightened. "You mean the world ends?" The figure tilted its head. "No. It simply stops." Myra stepped outside. The town of Vila lay frozen. A boy suspended mid-laugh. A baker mid-pour. A dog mid-leap. The world felt fragile, like glass. She walked through the unmoving streets toward the hill she had always promised herself she would climb. But as she walked, she noticed something wrong. Not everything was frozen. At the far end of the square, a shadow moved. It slipped along the walls, stretched thin, then thickened again. The figure in the cloak appeared beside her without a sound. "Every borrowed tomorrow leaves a gap," it said. "And gaps attract things." The shadow turned toward them. It had no clear shape, only a darker absence in the paused world. It began moving toward her. "What is it?" she whispered. "Regret." The word fell heavy between them. "It feeds on postponed courage, on words unsaid, on chances deferred." The shadow lengthened, growing thicker with each memory of Myra's unopened letters, the unclimbed hill, and the avoided conversations. "You borrowed tomorrow to use it," the cloaked figure said softly. "But if you only wander, it will claim the space." The shadow quickened, and it was almost upon her. "What do I do?" Myra breathed. "Live it." Myra ran. Not away from the shadow, but forward. Up the hill. The shadow chased her, sliding across frozen rooftops. The hourglass in her hand flickered, the silver light lowering. "You cannot outrun what you delay," the cloaked figure called from behind. Myra stopped, turned, and faced it. The shadow loomed tall, trembling with unfinished moments. Her hand shook. I'm done waiting, she whispered. The shadow lunged. But instead of stepping back, she stepped forward. I'm done, she said louder, her voice echoing across the frozen town. The shadow faltered. Myra pulled one of the letters from her pocket, tore it open, and read her own handwriting. You already know what you're capable of. The shadow recoiled, shrinking. Regret feeds on hesitation, not action. The first silver of pre-dawn touched the sky. The hourglass flickered wildly. It's time, the cloaked figure said. If I return it, Myra asked, will it come back? Tomorrow, the figure said gently. It always does, but never the same one twice. Myra closed her eyes. I won't wait no more. She turned the hourglass back. The world exhaled. The boys' laughter finished. The baker's batter poured. The dog landed. The clock tower struck midnight, and time flowed again. The cloaked figure and the shadow were gone. Myra stood alone on the hill as dawn broke over Vila. The sun rose, precisely on time. This time, she didn't promise herself tomorrow. She walked down the hill. She opened every letter. She spoke the words she had only rehearsed in silence. And sometimes, late at night, when the clock's ticking grows faint, she thinks she hears a soft knock. Not a warning, not a threat. Just a reminder. Tomorrow is not something you keep. It's something you step into, before it runs upward and away. Thank you for listening. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more tales that make you think. See you next time.